Remember that line in Aqua's Barbie Girl?
Life in plastic, it's fantastic.
This is probably something you've heard frequently if you're under 40. Though, is it really fantastic? A quarter way through the 21st century, and we are more plastic than ever. Not just literally, but metaphorically too. Now, obviously, there are reasons for this, and I'm not going to pretend like I know everything or have all the answers to this worldwide problem. Now, personally, I utilize some simple tools to help comfort myself and negate this feeling of inauthenticity. And if you would let me, I would like to share them with you. Um, if you like them, you can try them yourself. The digital camera slash photo album. Growing up, technology was always an interesting topic for me. I loved learning about computers, coding, and other digital facets. The early days of sites like YouTube and Instagram helped define my taste in music, art, and humor. I watched so much Tomska, and I'm not just talking about ASDF, like so much sketch comedy, like way too much. Really weird animation. Discovered Linkin Park on YouTube. I know some people are going to comment, or someone's going to think, "Oh, I listened to Meteora, on CD whenever." Listen, the radio was prevalent, but YouTube had those sick edits, man. Um, However, these days I find myself referring to my smartphone, the thing I'm recording this audio on, as a doom box, and my computer, which is right next to me, I'm reading the script off of, um, as a political weapon used by big corporations to spy on my very, I mean very, secret Minecraft server. Psst, don't tell anybody. Okay, cool, all right. You heard nothing. Jokes aside, this has become a large concern for many people. Since I went back to therapy last spring, something I've been doing more often is experiencing nature, shall we say. This looks different for everybody, but I've always had a love of photography, and I thought nature would be a good place to start. This past summer, I bought the camera that I'm actually filming this video on um, off of Facebook Marketplace. And while it's not 4K or our marvel of the year 2025, it's still 20 megapixels, shoots 720p HD, uh, takes rechargeable batteries, and it uses an SD card for storage. I can like offload all my stuff whenever I want. It's fantastic. Um, Straight up though, it performs as it's advertised. Takes nicer photos than my iPhone 14. Like straight up. I can even put some shots side by side, or even if I print off a photo, I can tell you, like, I can look at a picture and be like, yep, that was taken on an iPhone. Um, Unless you have like a Pro Max, then it's harder to tell. But most people who have regular iPhones, it's pretty damning. So, like any self respecting camera owner, I started taking pictures with it. I don't use it every day. I use my camera in ways I've never used a smartphone before when I took pictures. I've been paying more attention to like composition, settings, and the experience of using the tool as God intended. Overall, I gotta say it's oddly fulfilling. There's something special about using a real tool designed for a specific task, rather than a poorly optimized all in one glamour box. The follow up to this was my photo albums. This was something my parents and grandparents did growing up that eventually kind of became a lost art. Maybe I'm crazy, but Gen Z doesn't really, we don't really print our pictures. I work in a photo lab, and most people I see, it's a lot of seniors, man. It's so many seniors. But like, there's room. There's a couple, people my age that, couples usually. Um, we don't print our pictures though. We instead revisit them on social media. You might be showing your entire teen years in a Snapchat memory or an Instagram archive and cringe yourself to death. Um, and I guess the question we should be asking ourselves is it more appreciative or does it make you feel uncomfortable with the passage of time? So rather than be faced with this all at once, I started documenting life events, specific pictures and nature photo shoots in chronological order. I have an album. Like I said, I got plenty of B-roll. You can see it. That features childhood and like high school pictures. And two other ones from my undergraduate degree. So far, I take a lot of pictures. This way, I can look back at them fondly when I want to. But I also give these moments a physical dimension. By being able to pick them up, I can demonstrate to myself that these places, people, and these quality times all take up valuable space, and that I can capture new memories with the proper tools. The iPod slash media library. So, I've been collecting DVDs and Blu ray for a long time. CDs for even less than that after I got rid of my original collection, and retro video games even less than that. Back in September, I bought an iPod Classic 160 gigabyte as an alternative to streaming music on Spotify. This was because of my moral outrage as an artist mostly, but Spotify has also become really bad at what it was initially designed for. Every time you open the app, you are bombarded with advertised content curation and AI generated slop. Even if you pay for premium, you're still not getting what you pay for. Hell, no artists are either, at 2 cents a stream or less. Barf. So, as a way to remove my consumption and enjoyment from the noise of capitalist garbage, I started using this iPod. Both in the way Apple intended and the 7C's way, if you know what I mean. I started buying CDs again that I could upload to my iTunes and keep forever. And most importantly, I started buying music from small artists that I like directly. Whether it's iTunes or Bandcamp, I sleep better at night knowing I help support an artist project that I truly care about. Some of these artists include, if you're so inclined, Kale Crow, Damage, Changeling, and Man Made Sunshine. That last one just kind of being an offshoot of a band that's signed to a record label. It's fine. It's cool. Um, though most artists signed to labels, I feel so much less shame sailing the 7 Seas, if you know what I mean. Um, but like I wanted, the iPod has given me that clarity, interest, and level of enjoyment that streaming really took from me. And plus, 160 gigabytes is an insane amount for a device this size. Now, I mentioned movies, TV and video games too, so I kind of want to circle back to those. I'm of the belief that if you really like a movie or some other thing, and you've seen it or played it ever so many times, you should probably own a copy of it. This is because of licensing rights changing and the prices of streaming jumping around all the time, but also as a preservation of that media. You should keep it. You paid for it. Why pay over $100 a year because your comfort show has literally never left Netflix and it's the only thing you watch on there when you can just buy the box set for less than that and be happy with it? And also, most DVDs and CDs, if you're careful with them, they have a shelf life of like 100 years. Like, it's kind of a no-brainer. I don't know. Video games? Same thing. Do you love Halo? Have you played it 30 times on Game Pass? Get a copy of it. Why are you shelling out for a corporation that would literally rather remake or remaster a beloved thing than try to make something new and charge you triple for it? Me personally, I've been collecting the PlayStation 2 greatest hits lineup, and I've been collecting them since the end of this past summer. And so far, I've come across 15 out of 296 at $10 or less a copy. Now, this doesn't apply to all retro games. I'm looking at you, Silent Hill 2 and Shadow the Hedgehog. But now, I own all these titles, which, again, you'll see here. And I'm free to check them out literally whenever I want. Also, the red case spines just have a nice, crisp aesthetic on a shelf. Oh my god, it's so cool. Um, and it tickles my brain. But it's a fun hobby, and it's not hurting anybody. It's a good way to preserve old media. Like some of these games are like 20 years old. A lot of people don't want it either. Like you can find this stuff at yard sales, thrift stores. The same thing can be said for movies, kind of tying it back up. Um, the coolest thing I added to my collection this year was the Blu-ray of Sinners. I have oh so many thoughts about this film, but my most critical is that it was super original. It took a popular myth, the vampire, and made it into a historical fiction about race, class, and the power of artistry in a world obsessed with destroying marginalized voices and art. I did miss it in theaters, which kind of feels like a sin, no pun intended. Um, and I definitely learned from that mistake. I watched it randomly once on a streaming service, being Crave, and I knew I had to own it. Like it was just so good. It was so good, bro. Oh my god, the cinematography, the music. Oh, I can go on about Sinners forever. Um, I also got the House MD box set, but we don't need to delve into that. So you might be thinking, okay, that's cool, but like that's also expensive and time consuming. And I guess my response to that is unless someone like you cares an awful lot, it's not going to get better. It's not. Okay, super cheesy. And as problematic as Seuss is, I want to make it clear you don't have to do what I do. But if you ever want to detach yourself from the machines holding you hostage, working on the false promises of the decades past information age of the internet, even just for a little while, that's okay. There's no shame in that, and it'll probably heal you in some way. I could almost promise it. I'm almost sure of it. I also want to be transparent and say, despite all this, I still use streaming platforms from time to time. I'm active more on Letterboxd and Instagram than anywhere else these days. You can follow me in both those places if you want, by the way. The link's in the comments. But I like to make time for these things, or use them with express intent, rather than allow them to consume me instead. A small step is better than no step at all in my mind. If you ever want a place to start, you should ask yourself what some art means to you. What's a medium you always wanted to learn more about? Experience more. Music is probably the easiest one, with film and television not far behind. Check out secondhand stores or online platforms like Facebook Marketplace. Buy a camera, a VHS player, a PlayStation, something that matters to you. Make it yours and own it. It doesn't need to be pristine or expensive. It just needs to work for you. It can even be a fucking book, for Christ. Like, come on, guys, it's not that deep. You don't need to fill a shelf with stuff for the items on the shelf to mean something. Hopefully, this was of some interest to you, and it got you thinking. If you like videos like this, consider subscribing to my super inconvenient and inconsistent upload schedule. And I'll catch you later.